Becoming rich is arguably something everyone wants to achieve. Not because everyone wants to have a lot of money in their bank account or to spend money on luxuries every day, but because being rich gives you freedom. Everyone likes freedom. If it's freedom to travel the world or simply freedom to spend time with your family, freedom is a universal type of wealth. You may like it or not, but our society is ruled by money. Many of our biggest life decisions are made with money in mind. Lack of money is one of the biggest reasons for stress, and it can stop people from following their career dreams. Why don't more people devote their lives to become rich then? Usually the reason is because they don't really know how, but it can also be because they think striving for wealth brings too many sacrifices to their life or career. To acquire wealth doesn't necessarily bring sacrifices because wealth is very relative. If we say wealth equals freedom, that means wealth for the Kardashians with their lifestyles is a whole other universe than wealth to a normal family with normal needs. What usually keep people poor and stuck in the rat race is bad money habits and wrong mindsets. In this video, we'll go through the 5 worst money habits for your wealth and how you can change them to the better. This is investing in a nutshell. Money habit number 1, paying yourself last. If you watched our video about the richest man in Babylon, you might be familiar with the term pay yourself first. This might be one of the most important money lessons to integrate to your life in order to build wealth. But the reality for most people is the opposite, paying yourself last. What that means is you put yourself and your financial goals last in line. You get your paycheck after a month of hard work. You pay your rent or your mortgage, insurances, and other bills. Then you pay for food, clothes, and luxuries like dinners out or a weekend trip. In the end of the month, you save or invest what's left, if there is anything left. And the sad thing is that usually there isn't, because people usually adjust their spending to their income and end up spending whatever they earn. What is then the difference between someone earning $50,000 a year and someone earning $200,000 a year? If they're both broke in the end of each month, if they both will be in big trouble if they lose their job. Sure, the one earning $200,000 might have a bigger and nicer house, maybe a fancy car, and can enjoy whatever restaurant he or she wants. But at the end of the month, they are kind of in the same situation. A good definition of wealth is the number of days you can sustain your expenses if you stop working. Using that definition, they are equally poor. The way to change this habit that is keeping you poor is to pay yourself first instead. At least 10% of what you earn. You might think this is impossible because you can barely make the ends meet. But trust me, if you treat it like any other bill you have, pay it to a separate savings account or investment account the day you get paid. Your mind will find ways to reorganize and structure your spending accordingly. Money habit number 2, keeping bad debt. Some people might argue all debt is bad. In a way, it does make sense that having money is better than borrowing money with an interest cost. But there are many ways to use debt to your advantage. Good debt can actually accelerate your path towards wealth. We will talk about the power of good debt in future videos, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. But in this video, we're going to talk about bad debt. Unfortunately, a common source to why many people stay poor. I have a rule that paying myself first happens before anything else, no matter what. No excuses. I would rather eat oatmeal for a week than skip my investment savings. But there's one exception, and that is if you have bad debt. If you have a car loan with a 10% interest rate or even worse, if you have credit card debt with more than 20% interest rate, your only priority should be to get rid of that. It doesn't matter how good of an investor you are. Over time, you won't be able to beat that snowball of bad debt. Think of it as 20% guaranteed profit to pay off that credit card debt. Keeping bad debt will also hurt your credit score, making it more difficult to get a mortgage from the bank. Pay off bad debt before anything else. And to make sure you don't spend more than you have, make a budget. Money habit number 3, lifestyle inflation. Another good reason to make a budget is to avoid lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation is when you adjust your spending accordingly to the increasing of your earnings. This way, it won't really matter if you earn more each year. If you get a big raise or start a side hustle doubling your income, it still won't increase your wealth if the extra money is spent on unnecessary luxuries, or even worse, liabilities that drain even more money out of your pocket. Lifestyle inflation is maybe the most common money habit keeping people poor. It's also the reason why 70% of lottery winners go broke within a few years. The problem with lifestyle inflation is that it might be the hardest habit to tackle. It's understandable that when you suddenly increase your income, maybe because of some extra effort and long days at your job, or after starting a business on the side, that you feel like indulging yourself with a new car, a fancy watch, or a trip to Paris. What's the point of earning more if you can't notice it? This is where a change of mindset comes in. Instead of spending that extra money today, make the money work for you so that you in the future can bargain from it even more than you could today. If you consistently do this for years and decades, you might be able to live off the investments you've acquired over the years. So when you do get an increase in income, calculate what you actually need of that extra money to cover the annual inflation on food and other necessities, and then make an automatic monthly payment of the rest to your savings or investment account. And remember, pay yourself first. Money habit number 4, acquiring liabilities instead of assets. Knowing the difference between assets and liabilities is one of the most important tools you need to build wealth. If you haven't watched our video about it, make sure to do so after this one. In a nutshell, a liability is something taking money out of your pocket, and an asset is something putting money into your pocket. A good example of a liability most people acquire is a car. A car doesn't only in most cases lose its value over time. It also costs money for insurance and maintenance each and every month. The point is not really to stop buying liabilities, but to acquire assets that can pay for your liabilities. If you buy a car when you get your salary, that money is gone, and you now have a liability that will cost you money until you get rid of it. If you instead buy, for example, a dividend stock or a rental apartment that pays you money every month, and you use that money to buy a car, it will not affect the rest of your economy. Of course, it will for most people take too long before dividends from a stock investment will give you enough money to buy a car. But in that case, it can actually be beneficial to buy the car with a car loan that the dividends can pay for, as long as your dividends cover more than the interest of your car loan, that is. Money habit number 5, not having an investment plan. To start investing early is one of the best life decisions you can make. But seeing your money grow for the first time can also be dangerous. Most people don't get rich overnight, but after experiencing the possibilities of growth in the world of investing, it's easy to get impatient. You have probably heard the stories about a crypto speculator gaining 10x profits in days, or the people who bought GameStop or AMC, or any other meme stock before it skyrocketed. Of course, that's what we want, to just 10x our money as quick as possible. The truth is, unfortunately, that the majority of investors or traders end up on the losing side of such short-term bets. When an asset makes such moves without the fundamentals supporting it, you're probably too late to the party when the fear of missing out kicks in. The key to long-term success as an investor is to make an investment plan and to stick to it. Of course, an investment plan needs adjustments once in a while, but the point of sticking to your plan is to not make irrational and emotional decisions when things get turbulent in the market. Remember, the market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.